Okay, good to go. Are y'all having a good time or what? Are you loving this? So much good stuff, so much good info. Loving these speakers and all of the things that we've heard today. So exciting. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you to everyone who suggested and asked that I share my story. It truly is an honor, and I'm truly grateful. I want to give a trigger warning before I start. My story includes suicidal thoughts and mental health. And if that's something that affects you, I want you to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, okay? If you need to walk out the door, go outside, whatever you needed to do, take care of yourself. Okay. Love you, son, but girl, I am sweating, right? Is it just me? It's this building. Everybody's sweating. It's not just me. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, let's get going here. I am an authenticity and holding space expert. Okay. Oh, no, go back. Oh, back. Am I doing it? Is this me? Oh, sorry, this is me. Oh, there we go. Okay. If you look me up online, you will see all kinds of things we're celebrating. And I'll just, for the record, I had these set to animate to come in one at a time, and my computer said, oh girl, that's not a good idea. We're not going to do that. So I'm sorry I'm blasting you with all of them at once, but I will try to go quickly and explain what they are. You'll see all of these things we're celebrating if you look me up online. Things like I did a live on News 9 at the bottom left. Next to that is Craig Conover from Sewing Down South and Southern Charm. Super sweet guy. Man, I love him. Next to that is Mike Manning. That was an event I did at the Emmys where I got to take my book and meet celebrities, writers, producers, and directors. Mike Manning is the Manny on This Is Us, the second Manny. He was on Days of Our Lives. He's on Beyond the Gates. And side note, he actually was going to come help me do a fundraiser for Bethesda, but he was recording behind the gate. Super sweet guy. Top left is Sam Klein from Love is Blind, UK. Some of y'all love that show. Red carpet at a celebrity party in Hollywood, all kinds of things. My face on a Times Square billboard. My first book with this review that basically said that it saved people's lives. That I have had people tell me that my first book actually saved their lives. Talk about humbling, right? At the top, I have also been featured in an article about resilience alongside Mel Robbins in the San Francisco Examiner. And the San Francisco Weekly is an article alongside Brene Brown about resilience. So that's all the things that you will see. Well, that's a few of the things that you'll see if you look me up online. Lots of things to celebrate. Thank you. Thank you. But as many people have shared with you today, that it wasn't an easy road. My life hasn't always been that way. And what you won't see if you look me up online are all of the challenges that I went through to get me to the things that I just shared with you. The top left corner of this screen is a photo that was taken on April 25th, 2014. And in a matter of hours, my life changed forever. I had no clue that my life was going to change the way it did, but that's the last picture I have of me and the old version of me. On April 26th, in the matter of hours, I got up during the night because I felt sick, and I passed out, and I landed on my face on the hardwood floor in my home. And 6 months later, I found out that the impact from that fall sheared my brainstem, caused a traumatic brain injury, and it broke my neck. So I lived 10 years with a broken neck that went undiagnosed for 6 months. I went from one day working for the University of Oklahoma to the very next day I couldn't even take myself to the restroom. I couldn't walk, talk, hear, or see correctly. And I had to wear a cover over my eyes, earplugs in my ears, and I could barely speak above a whisper. It's very emotional. My daughter was a senior in high school. My son was a freshman in high school. and my youngest son was 4 years old. And I lost that entire year of their lives. Talk about a year that kids need their mama. They needed their mama. And I was flat in bed for 23 hours a day for almost a year. Couldn't even take myself to the restroom. So I lost that year of my children's lives. I lost my job because I couldn't get out of bed. And with it, I lost my sense of self-worth, because that's where I got my sense of self-worth, by how much I could accomplish. You're with me? You know how that is? And so you go from doing all the things to can't even take yourself to the restroom. So I lost my sense of self-worth. And in that process, I almost lost myself, because nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. I was laying in this bed, incapacitated, 23 hours a day, can't take myself to the restroom, and people were giving me medication and telling me that I'm just going to have to keep resting. Nope, not doing that. So I felt like such a burden to my family, and because they had to do everything for me. And as a former educator and social worker, I know that my purpose on this earth is to help people. That's the reason I've been put here, is to help people. And in my brain, incapacitation wasn't part of that. Like, how am I going to help people if I'm incapacitated in this bed? So I decided that I knew what I was going to do. I was going to solve the problem for all of us. I was going to put my family and myself out of that misery, and I was going to end it. That was the plan. That was the only way I could see it at the time. And I knew that I had enough pain medication to make it happen. And it would be quick, and it will be easy, and it will be painless. And in that moment, that's what I wanted. It sounded really good in that moment. So that was my plan. But before I could get to that point, my heart said to me, what if you don't have to die? What if you can make a different choice? What if you can take the same energy you're using, trying so hard to die, and you flip it around and you use it to fight to live? Maybe you can get better. And if you can get better, maybe you can use your experience to help others. And I said, you mean in this incapacitated state, I may still be able to use my experience to help others? My heart said, I don't know. Why don't you find out? And so while it didn't happen overnight, I began to fight to live with the intention of using my story to help others. And that's what it became. And so I started fighting my way through the medical and the disability system. I was in a wheelchair for 8 months. I had to relearn to walk. I had to relearn to read because my eyes wouldn't track. I bashed my head on the floor, and it shook up all these things in my brain. So I had to relearn all of these things. And people began watching me fight my way through to reclaim my life. And they began saying, you know, you really are an inspiration. You should share this with more people. You should write a book about this. And I said, I'm clawing my way out of hell right now. There's no way I want to document this. No, thank you. So I went on fighting. I was focused on fighting my way to reclaim my life. And these people kept saying, no, you really need to write a book. And so then I remembered that promise that I made in that bed, that I was going to fight to live, to use my story to help others. Maybe a book was the way to do that. So I put the book out there. I just put it out there. Honestly, I wanted them to stop bugging me about it. And I was like, let's just do it, put it out there, and we can move on. In 2 days, that book became a bestseller, and it took on a life of its own that I was not prepared for. It led to all of these people calling me, wanting to interview, asking me to fly here and fly there, and all the things that you saw on that first slide came because of that first book. And I wasn't ready for that. I'm a gal from a small town in Oklahoma. I don't know how to handle this stuff. I'm like, fame and notoriety don't motivate me. I'm about people's hearts. I just want to help people. Y'all, no, this is not the way it was supposed to go. And when people started referring to me as a celebrity, I said, time out. You have misunderstood the assignment. This is not what we're doing. No. We wrote this book to help people. We didn't use it to blast our name out there in the world. But they insisted that I be considered a celebrity. And I was like, what the heck? And not that I have anything against celebrities. I love them. I just told you, they're the sweetest people ever. But I just didn't want people to put me on a pedestal like that. I'm just a gal. I just want to go to the store like everyone else and buy the things that I buy without people asking me if they can take a picture with me, And so I didn't know what to do. I literally, my mental, my emotional, my nervous system froze. It froze. I didn't know how to handle. I didn't have the capacity to handle that much success in such a short period of time. And so I froze. And I began to fall apart behind the scenes, quietly and alone. You see, my book and my story and my career is based on resilience and pushing through, and we're strong and keep going and don't give up. What would people think if they knew that I wasn't strong? I wasn't resilient. I'm over here falling apart, sitting on the floor of my bedroom. Actually, I laid down, but you can't see me if I lay down. So, sitting on the floor of my bedroom, staring at the wall, blank wall, frozen, telling myself, get it together, Amy. What's wrong with you? How come you can't do this? You are strong. You're resilient. Beating myself up and cheering myself on at the same time. You ever done that? What is wrong with you? Come on. You got to get up. You got to do this. You got to do that. But I couldn't force myself to do it. I stopped changing clothes. I stopped bathing. I stopped eating. And I stopped taking care of myself because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't force myself to do anything. And thank goodness I have a 15-year-old son who stays with me part-time, who needed me to care for him. And it was because he needed my care that I was able to take the next step. It wasn't because I wanted to care for myself. You mamas know what I'm talking about. It was because I wanted to care for my 15-year-old son that I took the next step. And while it took great strength for me to fight my way through living 10 years with a broken neck, it took just as much strength for me to walk myself into a mental health hospital and say, I need help. And we have to change our minds. When someone says that, we think they're weak. Oh, no. They're very, very strong. And I can tell you from experience, it takes great strength to allow yourself to fall apart and ask for help. I want you to understand that this is a safe place. There's no judgment here. If you feel tears come, I want you to let them flow. It's part of your body sending you a message. Let it. There's someone else in this room who will say, me too. I'm experiencing the same thing. And I want to ask you, how many of you have ever felt like or have fallen apart? It's not just me. I want you to see you're not alone. Look around the room. You're not alone. This is something that happens more often than we want to admit. And I want you to understand the difference. I want to make a distinction. This is a whole nother talk, but I'll give you a tiny piece. Falling apart is a state of being. It's when your physical, mental, emotional, nervous system has had all it can take, and it needs a refresh. It needs to regroup. And I can't think of the word I need to use right now, but you know what I'm talking about. That's falling apart. It's a state of being. Giving up is a decision that you make to stop trying. There's a difference in falling apart and giving up. I would much rather you allow yourself to fall apart than to give up. So today we're talking about falling apart, this state of being that our body gets into. And so although I wasn't suicidal, I was not caring for myself, and I was not adequately caring for my 15-year-old son. So when I walked into that mental health hospital and I said I need help, they kept me for a week. I spent a week in a mental health hospital, and that week changed my life, but it changed me. It changed how I live. It changed how I love. It changed everything about my life. And I want to share just a piece of it with you today about how falling apart is a gift. It can be a gift if we allow it to. Falling apart is part of our communication system. It's our body saying, you know what, you've had enough, we need a little bit of rest. And we go, oh, no, I'm good, I got it. We're going to keep pushing. Been there, I'm going to keep pushing, I got it, I can do this. Falling apart is your body's way of getting your attention and saying, no, you don't got it. We need a break. We need to rest. And so falling apart can be a gift because it helps you see beyond what your physical eyes can see. It gives you a deeper dive down into what's really going on inside yourself. And what I found is most of the time, let me just say this first. One thing that I'm very passionate about is being authentically me. As an authenticity expert, I'm passionate about being authentically me, seeing beyond the masks, beyond the roles, beyond the expectations, beyond everything. It's just being who I am at my core. That's why my business is called Polish the Mirror, because our mirrors get distorted and they get covered with layer after layer after layer that everybody else is putting on our mirrors. You with me? You got a mirror that is covered with everything else that other people put on it? And polishing the mirror is removing everything that is not us so that we can see what is us. It's giving us an accurate reflection of who we are in the mirror. And so, I lost my train of thought now. I backtracked. So falling apart is a gift, and we have most of us have been there, right? Most of the time, when you get to the point where you feel like you need to or you fall apart, it is because you are not being authentic in one or more areas of your lives. Anybody feel that right there in their soul when I said that? You know what I'm talking about. You're not being authentic in one or more areas of your life. And it can be you're not being authentic with yourself. You're not owning something you need to own. You're not saying something you need to say with a partner or with someone in a relationship, with your business, out in the community, all these areas of your life. If you're not being authentically you in these areas, you might get to the point where you feel like falling apart. So I want to share with you just a little piece of a new resource that I created that I actually get to share at Oxford University next week. But I want to give you a little piece of it, if that's okay. It's called Your Authenticity Score. And you have a flyer about it there on your, oh, shoot, I forgot this part. So I forgot this part. When I stepped outside of the mental health hospital, my soul said to me, you have to share this. And I said, wait, I'm ashamed. This is a risk. What are people going to think if they knew I spent a week in a mental health hospital? My soul said, we don't care. You need to share it. And I said, oh, crap. And so I took the first picture on the left as soon as I got outside in the parking lot. Crazy hair, no makeup, because that's the way it is inside a mental health hospital. And I basically said, I'm standing outside a mental health hospital, not because I'm here to visit someone, but because I spent a week inside. And I began to do a series of these posts and hashtag authentically Amy with a risk, not knowing how people would take this. And, you know, Shannon said it earlier, not Shannon, sorry, Jennifer, yeah, my bad, getting all the names mixed up, that you don't know what's going to happen when you put this stuff out there. So I began to share my journey of this mental health journey that I had been on, bracing myself for all of the ugliness that was to come. And exactly the opposite happened. People began to surround me and cheer me on and say, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being authentic. Me too. I don't have the courage to do what you're doing and to talk about it like you're talking about it. But I know what it feels like. And you're talking about it openly on your social media, and you're helping so many people. And one of the things that surprised me the most is that I began getting private messages from men. It's not what you think. Who started telling me, thank you for sharing your story. I can't say this because it makes me look weak, but you sharing your story is helping me and all the other men more than you know. This is just a handful of the screenshots of the messages I got from men telling me to keep talking about this because they are dealing with this and they don't know how to handle it. Guys, if you think that men don't want to be authentic, you are terribly mistaken. If you work with a bunch of men and are surrounded by men and you're afraid of being authentic and you think they're going to make fun of you or they're not going to accept you, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. So many men reached out to me and said, me too, keep talking. And then I opened my LinkedIn, and this guy, I don't even know who he is, connected with him on LinkedIn. He started asking me questions behind the scene about my journey, so I had a little conversation with him behind the scene. And he said, as a grown adult, because of me sharing my story and being authentic, he made an appointment with a psychiatrist and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder as an adult. He had lived with this his entire life and didn't know what was wrong with him. But because I shared my story authentically, it allowed him to own this. And he shared this on LinkedIn with the whole world, thanking me, saying that as someone who works with young people, I ask myself often, how can I teach kids to care for themselves if I'm not doing the same for me? So it was a reflection. Y'all, this is what happened, and this is what will happen when you embrace your authentic self. You become a permission slip for other people to do the same. People tell me all the time, Amy, you're a permission slip for people to be vulnerable and authentic. That's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing, but you know what? So are you. You are a permission slip for other people to embrace their authenticity when you embrace yours. And it doesn't mean sharing just like vomiting all the things, but just being authentically you. So again, if you think men aren't interested in authenticity, I want you to think again and see this differently. Okay, so we're going back to the resource that I created back on your table, your authenticity score. It's a 1, 2, or 3, and it's which part of you is quietly calling for more attention? I can't read this. There are 3 parts. The part that wants to be discovered, the part that longs to be valued, or the part that's ready to live what it knows to be true. There are 3 different steps. And your authenticity score, that's just a 1, 2, or 3. You have that on your sheet there. So I want you to think about where you fall in this. The first one is self-discovery. That's where it all starts. Y'all, we know more about other people than we know about ourselves. How many of you say that's true? I know more about other people than I know about myself, right? Because we don't take the time or the energy to know who we really are beneath all of the layers and all the distortion. There's a beautiful soul in there, I'm telling you. It's beautiful. And when you uncover it, it shines like that sun that's making me sweat right now. So it's there. So self-discovery is number 1. Number 2 is self-value. After you discover what's there, if you've polished that mirror and discovered what's really there, then you get to value and honor those things. I had to rediscover who I was after I lived 10 years with a broken neck because I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And so I had to learn who I was and learn to value and honor the pieces that I saw that were there. That's number 2. And number 3 is self-alignment. This is living out those values and honoring what you have found in your self-discovery process. So yes, this is sequential. You start at 1, go to 2, go to 3. But you may have already discovered, you may have done self-discovery. You know, this is not therapy. I'm not a therapist. I don't even play one on TV. But self-discovery, a lot of people have done self-discovery. So you may be at a 2. Heck, you may even be at a 3. So let me just ask you really quick. How many of you are in your authenticity score, you're scoring at 1. You need to do some self-discovery. That's where you need to start. Anybody? Okay, got a few people. Self-discovery piece. All right, good stuff. What about 2? How many of you know about yourself, but you need to value and honor more of what you have found? Anybody a 2? All right, we got some 2s. And then how about 3? This means that you need to live out what you know to be true for you. Who's the 3? Got some 3s. Okay, so we got some time here. We're going to do, this is something, if you have been in one of my talks before, you have done this mirror activity. And if you have done it before, we're going to do it again because it's different every time we do it. Goodness. This is a heart place. I want everybody to take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and let it out with a sigh. One more time. We're deep breath in. Let it out with a big sigh. I know that's awkward and it looks weird, but it helps your body understand that it's okay, that I'm safe. Deep breath in, and an audible sigh tells your body, I'm safe. It's okay. We're good. Because going into this next piece, I need your body to understand that you're safe. All of you have a mirror. Find your mirror, wherever it is, unpackage it, make sure you have it there in front of you. Get your tissues out, because I can almost guarantee you might need them. And this is what we're going to do. How many of you have heard the saying, the eyes are the window to the soul, right? Do you believe that's true? Let me ask you this. How many of you purposely look at your eyes in the mirror? I'm not talking about fixing your makeup or getting something out of your eye. I'm talking about looking into your eyes to see into your soul. That's something we don't do. Every time I do this activity, people say, well, that's just weird. It makes me feel weird. It's uncomfortable and it freaks me out and it makes me want to cry. Yeah, that's the point, right? And so that's what I want to do. Again, if you feel tears begin to well up, please don't fight them. Allow them to come out. Your body is sending you a message. That's what your body needs from you. And if you fight it, it's going to come back another time. So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes, and I want you to look directly into your eyes in the mirror. And I want you to write down whatever comes up for you. Because when you exit these doors, you're back in real world and you're going to forget all the things today. And you're going to want to come back to this because there may be things that come up that you want to deal with when you're alone and by yourself. So make sure you have something to write with, to write on. And I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to look into your eyes in the mirror. It's going to be weird and uncomfortable. I want you to embrace the uncomfortable. I see some of you checking your makeup. That's not what I'm talking about. Nope, we're not checking them. It's fine if you need to check your makeup, but that's not the point. You're into your eyes. You're connecting with your soul. Y'all, your soul has a message for you. Did you know that? Your soul wants to speak to you. It wants to tell you how amazing you are and all of the cool things that it has in store for you. So I'm going to be quiet and let the music play for a couple minutes. How many of you found that difficult, uncomfortable, weird, freaky, all those things I've heard, right? Yeah, it happens. Especially when you have never done this before. It just feels so different, right? Because you're seeing all of the things, well, some of the things that you have pushed down there. You know, we don't feel our emotions. We push them down, right? We fold them nicely and neatly, and we tuck them in there, never to surface again. So we don't look into our eyes because we see that. And we don't want to see that. We don't want to own it. But you know what? Our life is never going to be what we want it to be until we see that, allow it to serve its purpose, and move us on in our life. So it's a really, really powerful thing. I encourage you to continue doing this. Dr. Carr told us about the power of the mirror, and it is super powerful. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness, so good. I'm running out of time. I could talk to you about this forever. I'm so passionate about it. I love sharing this message. I want to encourage you to take your authenticity score and apply it to the different areas of your life. I'm thinking about, we're all businesswomen in here. Think about your authenticity score in relation to your business. Where does your business fall? I mean, are you authentic in your business? Would you say that your workplace culture is a place of authenticity? Most of you would say, oh, no. And I can tell you, you want to know why this person is not doing their job? You want to know why this person's always late? You want to know why this person always has a chip on their shoulder? They need some authenticity. When you incorporate authenticity into your business culture and you allow people to see you as human, they will start telling you why they're not doing their job. They'll start telling you why they're late and why they have a chip on their shoulder, because they feel safe. So apply this authenticity score to your business. If you need help with that, it's something myself and my business partner, Kara, raise your hand, Kara, we do. We help incorporate authenticity into your business. Shameless plug, I did bring my books today. My first book is called Finding My Hero Within. It's, like I said, has saved people's lives. It's humbling to say that, you know. If you know somebody who's struggling. My second book is called Polish the Mirror, Self-Discovery, and it's a self-discovery reflective coloring workbook that walks you through the self-discovery process. And they're on the table out there. I'll be happy to sign them for you if you're interested. And I would love for you to come find me, share what came up for you, because when you speak it out loud and share it with someone else, it adds a layer of accountability. I'm not going to call you and check in on you, but when you speak it out loud, your body says, I think this person might mean this. This is really, really real to this person. So I think, is that all? Oh, I have this slide. Oh, nope, I did it wrong. There we go. I put a bookmark in your sack or the QR code on the screen. I do have some freebies for you. When you click on this or when you go to this, there's a shop tab that has some free PDFs for you there if you're interested in that. And I would love to connect with you and get to know you better and help in any way that I can. Authenticity is the way. Anybody Mondo fans? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I think we have some time for questions. We have time for questions? All right. Any questions about my story, authenticity? Yes, ma'am. Hit me. That's a great question. How did people in my immediate life react when I decided to just start being me and embrace my authenticity? I will say it led to my divorce. I fired some friends with love, and I owned who I am. And if they were not encouraging me and helping push me in the path that I knew I was supposed to go, then I gently said, I love you, but I don't think you have a place in my life anymore. And that was hard. It's so hard. But I will tell you the power of that, when you can own that and say, this is who I am, and I'm going to embrace it. And if it means I have to fire some friends or a spouse, then, that's the way it is. And life has rewarded me for doing that. And, because I told you I'm leaving tomorrow to go speak at Oxford University to share this. That's one of the opportunities that came because I owned my authenticity. Does that answer your question? Okay. Anybody else?
I have a question. Were you paralyzed?
On my left side, I could not lift my leg at all. That's one of the reasons I was in a wheelchair, but I also had POTS, or dysautonomia, if you're familiar. It took them 6 years to figure out that it's because of the POTS that I passed out. But the way it hit my brain and my brain stem, it sheared my brain stem. So I couldn't move this left side. I literally had to lift my leg to get into the bath and all of that. And I spent 2 weeks at a brain center in Dallas, and they did all kinds of funky treatments. They reconnected my brainstem, right? It's crazy stuff. It's all outlined in my book if you want to know more, but yeah. Did you have a specific reason for asking that? Yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's hard. It's so hard. Right. I had so many doctors tell me I should have died. Had my face been turned just a half an inch, that would have landed on my nose, and they said that would have been the end of it. But I'm still here for a reason. What's that? Okay, great. Yeah, I would love to chat with her. And I do want to share, too, that it was my 4th neurologist who found my neck injury. So that's why it took 6 months, because I had to keep advocating for myself. No, you're not helping me. Let me go to another one. And then I just kept advocating for myself until I found someone who knew what to look for. So I would love to connect with her and encourage her. Yeah, if that's okay with you, let me know. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? We're good. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story with you today. Appreciate it.